Returnal is an absolute masterclass example of how video games are able to tell a completely unique story from any other media. The game is about our protagonist Celine crash landing her ship Helios in an unknown land under strange circumstances. Celine not only has to learn how to survive, but how to escape. The catch is that every time Celine dies, she's forced to return. Throughout her journey, Celine is searching for an entity known solely as the White Shadow, which is what sent her the signal that brought her here in the first place. She quickly finds out that not only is this remote land full of monsters that want her dead, native humanoid lifeforms that seem hostile, and hulking menaces that will stop at nothing to kill her, but the world itself is against her too. The world will shift around her, making every life unique, and taunt her with images of the life that she herself is trying to return to. So what makes Returnal stick with me in a way that no other AAA game has ever been able to achieve? Returnal uses the fact that it is a video game to tell its story. While games like The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption 2, and God of War have all been able to tell extremely captivating stories with the amazing writing teams behind them, they all share one thing that Returnal does not. None of those stories have to be video games. I'm not saying that the games don't benefit from being video games, but as we've seen with The Last of Us on HBO, the story can still be extremely compelling in another form. Returnal isolates not only the character, but the player too. Many games isolate the character to a lone hero of sorts, oftentimes to show how strong the character is. Returnal, however, uses its isolation to give Celine a complete and unrelenting sense of hopelessness. Now, there are many horror games that use these same elements to do the exact same thing, Alien Isolation being a perfect example of that feeling. But Returnal also isolates the player. In a game like Alien Isolation, the game still gives you progression. Sometimes you find a new area to explore, or a save point so that you won't lose progress. When you die in Returnal, you are brought back to the exact same point every time, completely alone, forced to watch the character you are playing as and the character you care about sink deeper and deeper into insanity. The first interaction Celine has with any kind of human life on this planet is a dead body that looks exactly like hers. On closer inspection, there's a log of some kind to tell a story of the life that they had lived.
But I can remember the torment, feeling like I was losing my mind. There's no comfort here, no safe space.
When the voice coming from the recording is her own, it is immediately shown to the player exactly what is happening here, even if Celine doesn't realize it yet. The strength of this game being in the roguelike genre is that the player is oftentimes one step ahead of our character in how the world is going to function, but always finding out information at the exact same time she does. The world is taught to us not with cutscenes where another person is explaining exactly what's been going on here for years, but through the chilling voice of Celine, who has been forgotten not only by the world, but by herself. Upon deeper exploration of the world, Celine gets her first glimpse of exactly how deeply this planet is trying to drive her insane. She finds herself staring at her own home, not where she used to live in it, but surrounded by the dark mystery of the world around her. The world knows Celine, and the world watches Celine. Throughout the game, the house is one of the few recurring characters, giving Celine some brief semblance of escape from the world that she's losing herself in. And this is where it shows more than ever that Returnal had to be a video game. In the outside world, Returnal is a third-person shooter, action roguelike. The battles are fast-paced, the enemies are scary, and everything is out to get you. Inside the house, the game is first-person. You are Celine. Her walking speed is slow, it's dark, and it almost feels like time itself has come to a halt so Celine can be taunted by the world around her. In many ways, it's peaceful, and in more ways, it's haunting. On her first visit to the house, Celine is greeted with a photo of herself that gives her brief flashes of her home. And when she finally makes it upstairs and looks out the window into this empty, aggressive world, there's an astronaut on the ground, staring motionlessly back up at her. The astronaut is our other main recurring character, a shadowy presence that's always looming somewhere, one step ahead, leading Celine towards the answer that she's looking for, guiding her and torturing her along the way, because the astronaut knows that Celine is never getting home. Ever presently, the world is never keen to just give something to Celine. Upgrades come in the form of parasites that will help you in one way and detriment you in another. Health can be found lying in certain rooms, but the deeper you go, the more and more you will find malignant health drops that run the risk of some extreme consequences. Even some rewards that can be picked up without causing suit malfunctions for Celine are kept behind challenging rooms with waves of mini-bosses. But in Returnal, every little bit helps. Without a difficulty setting, death is not a deterrent, it's a feature. You, the player, know that, and Celine begins to know it too. She knows that she is not only likely, but certain to die, over and over and over again, all to get to the one goal that she's had since the beginning, finding the White Shadow. After a seemingly endless barrage of challenging mini-bosses, actual bosses, and mental torture, you're finally at the pinnacle, the end of the game at the peak of the entire world. Both you and Celine have done it. You've escaped, found the White Shadow, and made it back home. The sense of relief that you, the player, gets as you see glimpses of Celine living the life that she fought so hard to make it back to, the experience feels complete. It was a fight through hell to get there, but it was accomplished. This Celine did something that no other version of her was able to. She didn't have to return. And as her life comes to an end, happy, surrounded by the family that she loves and worked so hard to come back to,
No, I can't be here. I escaped. I was... Helios, you're still here too. Astra!
When this happened, there was a part of me that wanted to say I knew that I shouldn't be affected by it because I saw it coming. But the larger part of me thought that it would be too cruel. The horrors that she must have had to overcome to live her normal life with her family. She could never be happy. Not forever. This is the hopelessness that Returnal provides. Because when Act 2 starts, your goal isn't the same anymore. Celine isn't looking for the White Shadow to escape. She's looking for a way to make it stop. In Act 1, Celine is climbing, slowly making her way to the top of a goal that she is bound to achieve. In Act 2, Celine is sinking deeper and deeper into the madness that was expected of her from the beginning. The story of Returnal isn't something that's told to you, it's shown, and more importantly, it's felt. The struggle that Celine goes through isn't her struggle alone to get back home, it's your struggle to make sure she succeeds. Every death is her failure to get home, and your failure to get her there. Because Returnal is a video game, it never has to pull any punches or tell the player how to feel. It treats them like a person and makes Celine a person too. The player bought the game to win, but stays to get Celine home despite the odds put in front of them. Returnal uses the format of being a video game to masterfully make the player care, and make each life of one fictional character mean more and more every time she has to live it. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like or even subscribing. Also, come check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/jacksander1. This entire video was shot, written, and recorded in one day on my stream over on Twitch. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.